that seeks to amend the Penal Code Cap 63 and provide for enhancement of punishment for livestock theft by providing that the offence shall be punishable by death. The bill also seeks to amend the Principal Act by providing enhancement of punishment for the offence of handling stolen livestock or livestock produce. This afternoon, members will be considering two motions and a host of bills. Actually, they'll be putting the question to a motion on the report of the Committee of the Whole House that considered Senate amendments to the Public-Private Partnerships Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of the year 2021. A report of the Committee of the Whole House that considered the Perpetuities and Accumulations Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of the year 2021. They shall also be deciding the fate of the Asian Widows and Orphans Pension Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of the year 2021. Discussions on this matter having been concluded yesterday, and so if approved, it shall be proceeding to a Committee of the Whole House for amendment. Also, there is a vote on the County Government's Grants Bill, a bill emanating from the Senate and fronted in the National Assembly by the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee. The questions session has 5 queries from members. One is a question by private notice from the Member of Parliament Embakasi East, Honorable Babu Owino, and his query is directed to the Cabinet Secretary, Interior and Coordination of National Government, seeking to know the status of the investigations into the abduction and subsequent disappearance of Mr. Samson Tekle Michael, an Ethiopian citizen, a businessman, who was allegedly abducted by persons alleged to be security personnel in Kileleshwa area in Nairobi on the 19th of November this year. Then there are also 4 ordinary questions, including one from Gatundu North Member of Parliament, Honorable Annie Kibe, directed to the Cabinet Secretary, Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizens Affairs and Special Programs regarding funds dispersed to youth, persons with disabilities and women in Gatundu North constituency. It is a live broadcast brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. It is also available on KBC Radio Taifa, the Kiswahili audio version of it, as commentated by my colleague Tilio Marco. My name is Vereso Mwanga. On behalf of the entire crew, including the sign language interpreter this afternoon, Gideon Mbogo, I welcome you to follow the proceedings. Good afternoon.
Honorable members, let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders in parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, We are just short of the required numbers, and therefore I order the bell to be rung for 10 minutes.
Joining us, you are in time for live proceedings from the National Assembly this Wednesday afternoon. It is the second sitting of the day for members of the National Assembly, having held the morning sitting that stretched from about 9:45 to 1 p.m. this afternoon. The quorum bell ringing as ordered by the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Cheboy. A minimum 50 members is required in order for the honorable members to get into the business of prosecuting legislative matters. And issues before them include a number of statements being sought by members this afternoon. That will be done through various departmental committees. Among them is the Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo, Member of Parliament for Nyula constituency. He'll be seeking a statement from the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning concerning the status of the Transport and Logistics Network, KTLN. The Honorable Aden Duale, Member of Parliament, Garissa Township, will be seeking statements, or is expecting answers to his statement concerning breach of the Statistics Act by the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS. This matter will be handled by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning as well. That same Departmental Committee will also be responding to the Honorable Munene Wambogo, Member of Parliament, Kirinyaga Central, on the issue of upsurge of unregulated investment schemes and financial fraudsters. Those are the statements expected to be issued in the House this afternoon once a quorum is achieved. That, including any petitions or notices of motions and papers that will be laid on the table of the House, after which the members will delve into the bills and motions that are pending. A quorum achieved shall be confirmed by the Speaker.
Okay. Order. Now we have the right. We have quorum. Therefore, business will begin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
On that particular order, we have the majority party whip. Are you the one tabling these reports? Yes, I think so.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 24th, 2021, afternoon sitting. 1. The report of the Auditor General and financial statements on the last mile connectivity project, Kenya Power and Lighting Company PLC, for the year ended 30th June 2021 and the certificate therein. 2. The reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30th June 2020 and the certificates therein. A. National Employment Authority. B. Earthy Water Works Development Agency. C. Jomo Kenyatta Foundation. D. Kenya Institute of Special Education. E. Policyholders Compensation Fund, the National Treasury. F. Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. G. Communications Authority of Kenya. H. Kenya Technical Trainers College. And I. Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. 3. The report of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30 June 2019 and the certificates therein. A. At the Waterworks Development Agency. B. Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization. C. Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service. D. Kibo Seed Company Limited. E. Simlo Seeds Uganda Company Limited. F. Kenya Seed Company Limited and its subsidiaries. And G. Simlo Seeds Company Limited. 4. The report of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following constituencies for the year ended 30 June 2019 and the certificates therein. A. Embakasi East. B. Kajiado West. C. Bumula. And D. Bura. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Then we go to the next one by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House. Today, Wednesday, November 24, 2021, during this afternoon sitting. Report of the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources on its consideration of the Sustainable Waste Management Bill, National Assembly Bill number 22 of 2021. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next will be the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 24th, 2021, afternoon sitting. Addendum to the report of the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing on its consideration of the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill 2021, National Assembly Bill number 13 of 2021, table on 5th August 2021. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. And then we go to the Chairperson and GCDF. Let's give you the floor. I'm trying to locate you somewhere.
I'm here. Thank you very much, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, November 24, 2021, afternoon sitting. A report of the Select Committee on National Government Constituency Development Fund on the list of nominees to the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee for Kiamba constituency. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. So then we go to the next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Then as we get to that particular order, we will skip briefly the order number 7 and go to order number 8 and 9. That rearrangement is basically for the convenience of the House. So let's have you give your notice, then we'll jump the next order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That pursuant to the provisions of Section 43, Subsection 4 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015, as amended in 2016, and paragraphs 5, 2, and 10 of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Regulations 2016, this House approves the list of 7 nominees for appointment to the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee in Kiamba constituency laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. So then we skip order number 7 and go to order number 8, but we'll come back to it very shortly.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Senate amendments to the Public-Private Partnership Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2021. Question to be put.
Order, members. I've confirmed that they are the required numbers for me to transact this business. Therefore, I put the question, which is that the House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Senate amendment to the Public-Private Partnership Bill, National Assembly Bill number 6 of 2021. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Perpetuities and Accumulations Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2021.
Order. Order, members. Still have the numbers. So I put the question, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House in its consideration of the Perpetuities and Accumulations Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2021. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? As of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, let me call the mover to move third reading.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Perpetuities and Accumulations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2021, be now read a third time. I also ask Honorable Charles Kilonzo to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Thank you very much. So then I propose the question, which is that the Perpetuities and Accumulations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2021, be now read a third time. I put the question, which, having confirmed, of course, that we have the required numbers, I put the question, which is that Perpetuities and Accumulations Bill, National Assembly Bill number 24 of 2021, be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? When as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of Parliament to amend the Perpetuities and Accumulations Act and for connected purposes.
Now we go to the
order number 10.
Yes, order number 10. Proceed.
The Asians, Widows and Orphans Pensions Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2021, second reading.
I proceed to put the question, which is that the Asian Widows and Orphans Pension Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 29 of 2021, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? When as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of Parliament to repeal the Asian Widows and Orphans Pensions Act and for connected purposes. Order number 11, the County Government's Grants Bill, Senate Bill number 35 of 2021, second.
Tangu ulipoanza kushika hicho kichwa uchoke.
Ingekuwa si mimi, angekuwa hapa na mama yake.
Kuna jambo lolote labda wakumbuka lilifanyika jana?
Love doesn't betray, and it doesn't hurt, and it does not deceive.
Okay, what's your problem with
don't
me, huh?
touch
Why don't
me.
you just
Hey,
leave me
let
alone,
go
okay?
of me.
Hey.
Emiliano!
If you really love Cassandra, let her go.
Something behind this wicked game that you're playing. You're hiding behind a mantle of lies.
Did you have anything to do with his murder?
Society girl Deborah Pinheiro dies under strange circumstances. Deborah Pinheiro, homicide or suicide?
East, the Honorable Babu Owino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my first question is the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government, Bwana Fred Matiang'i, aware that Mr. Samson Tekle Michael, passport number EQ0076115, an Ethiopian citizen and a businessman dealing with LPG gas, who was abducted by security personnel in the presence of a traffic police officer in Kileleshwa area, Nairobi, on Friday, 19th November 2021, around 5:45 p.m. Question number 2. What is the status in the investigations into the disappearance of Mr. Samson Tekle Michael from Friday last week to today, and how many suspects have been apprehended or questioned, including the said traffic officer, so far regarding his abduction? Question number 3, what specific measures has the government put in place to protect Kenyans and foreign citizens from the spate of abductions that have been rampant in this country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we are going on recess next week on Thursday, so kindly treat this matter, Mr. Speaker. Let the Cabinet Secretary answer it before then, before next week Thursday, Mr. Speaker.
Well, you know, Honorable Babu Owino, you have asked this question by private notice. First, you have been given a priority. Very quickly, you are having it on the order paper. And again, it is normal that as per our standing orders, when the question is coming by private notice, it is treated as such, that is going to be dealt with first. And I hope the committee is able to handle that as fast as is possible, because it is a serious matter. Thank you very much, the Honorable Owino. This one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Then, honorable members, we go to the ordinary questions. Starting us off is the Honorable Ann Kibe, member for Gatundu North. Sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 494 of 2021 to the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizens Affairs and Special Programs. 1. What steps is the Cabinet Secretary taking to ensure that funds are disbursed to youths, persons with disabilities, and women in Gatundu North constituency who have not benefited from the disbursement of Uwezo Fund since 2017? Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the steps taken by the ministry to ensure that Uwezo funds disbursed to various groups and individuals are not misappropriated? Number 3, could the Cabinet Secretary ensure that officers responsible for the disbursement of the safe funds are held accountable in case of misappropriations? And number 4, considering that out of the 92 groups which you are allegedly listed to have benefited from the initial disbursement of 16 million in 2015, only 61 groups exist or acknowledge having received money, while the rest are non-existent, yet the bank account used for the disbursement of the banks, which was operated by one of the leading banks, in the country is also non-existent. What steps is the Cabinet Secretary taking to ensure and to bring the culprits to book? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Very well. So that one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Labour and Social Services. Next member is the member for Nakuru Town East.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to ask question number 496 of 2021, addressed to the Ministry, Cabinet Secretary, Education. Has the Ministry carried out any investigation into allegations that illegal drugs and substances are finding their way into schools through the day scholars, and especially in Menengai High School in Nakuru Town East constituency? And if so, what is the status of the said investigation? 2, what action has the Ministry taken to ensure that students are not used as conduits for supplying narcotics and substances in schools? And 3, could the Cabinet Secretary consider converting Menengai High School to either exclusively a day school or a boarding school to rid it of such behavior and ensure discipline? Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Very well. That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Education and Research. I have received information and request by the Honourable Patrick Musimba that this question be deferred, and I proceed to defer the question. So we go to the member for Kapenguria, the Honourable Moroto.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask a question number 499 of 2021 to ask the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and the Coordination of National Government. Roman 1. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain the circumstances under which anti-stock theft administration security personnel in Chepchoina area at the former Agricultural Development Corporation, ADC, farm in Trans Nzoia County regularly confiscate cattle from the local communities? Roman 2. What measures has the Ministry put in place to discipline and remove corrupt officers who demand bribes for the release of cattle illegally confiscated? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Then we go to statements, and we'll be doing 3 statement requests. First one by the Honourable Wilberforce Oundo, member for Funyula. Member for Funyula.
Speaker, I had requested for a statement and I was expecting a written answer today from the chair of the committee. The statement was requested on 7th July, the year of our Lord 2021, and there was indication from the clerk that the chair will read the statement today, this afternoon. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Yes, actually I can confirm that these are actually not statement requests. It's that the statements were supposed to be responded to. And all the statements that are supposed to be responded to are by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. And on record, yesterday, the chair had confirmed that she is going to respond today. Is the chair finance in the House? Or the vice chair? I think in fairness, it seems the chair is not in, so therefore this should be responded to tomorrow. What is it, the Honorable Udo? Yes, Dr. Undo.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable.
I don't know what's happening with your...
Honorable Speaker, this matter has been postponed for far too long, and I suppose through your office, you could give very firm and very firm instructions that the matter must be responded to tomorrow, because the indication was given since last week that we responded today, and indeed we came ready to receive the statement and interrogate it on the floor of the House. But nevertheless, since they are not around, there's very little we can do. We have to accept. Honorable Speaker, now that we are almost concluding that section, and the chair is not around, neither any member of the committee is around.
No, let's not go that direction. First, let's deal with the matter that is on the floor now, and that is the issue of the response by the Chair Finance. She had 3 matters to respond to in terms of statements. Now she's not in. Unfortunately, therefore, I cannot make extreme orders now, because I would have been happy to know her capacity and availability to respond tomorrow. Now, we will place it in the order paper tomorrow, and we will ask the majority whip to ask the Chair Finance to come and respond to these statements tomorrow. It would be proper, because she had confirmed yesterday that she was going to have them responded to. And we'll also be talking about one of the committee members, if at all. Do we have a committee on finance? And who is that? Is that Mboni?
Yes.
Honorable Mboni.
Yeah, Chair. I want to report this. We were supposed to meet with the CS Finance today, but the CS Finance is not in the country. So we are waiting for him to come back from outside the country so that he can give us the answers to that statement. Thank you very much.
Because in that case, we would not want to issue any orders in vain. We want to be sure that we can be able to have. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, it would be proper if we put it sometimes next week. Then we could take a chance that we might have a response.
Honorable Speaker, probably the member could not, is not well briefed on the matter, because the Secretariat actually forwarded for me a copy of the report, and I was invited repeatedly that I should come without fail, because my long-awaited answer to the response to the statement was going to be read on the floor of the House this afternoon.
Okay.
So the member is not well informed. Sorry for that.
Tomorrow it is. So let's go to... What's your point of order? Honorable Undo, again, I thought we dispensed with your matter.
Honorable Speaker, my point of order relates to the next order, order number 13, and specifically number 1, that is on the Committee of the Whole House in respect of the County Government Grants Bill, Senate Bill number 35 of 2021. Honorable Speaker, we concluded debate yesterday evening, and indeed it was expectation of every member that will be given adequate time to go and prepare for purposes of any amendments we would want to move. Honorable Speaker, in the past, the substantive speaker has ruled that the debate in the second reading is not in vain. It is instructive that the only amendments that are appearing on the order paper are those amendments prepared by the committee, which would seem, with all likelihood, that they were prepared even before listening to the debates in the second reading. Honorable Speaker, I seek your indulgence, and I seek the indulgence of the majority leader, nor the chairman of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, that we put this matter on hold, Honorable Speaker, even if it means tomorrow, so that members who contributed or members who have got interest can have adequate time to prepare the amendments, take them to the relevant offices, legal offices, that are checked and approved before we can get this matter to the committee of the whole House. I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Well, I do not know if there is any other member who wants to speak to this. But in absence of that, because it's a fairly straightforward, because this matter was supposed to be dealt with leave of the House. What it means, honorable members, if you look at the introductory part of our standing orders, leave of the House would mean that there being no objection by any member, either with sympathy of the Speaker or with support of at least 5 other members. So we have got only two ways of dealing with this. You seek the sympathy of the Speaker, or you seek support of 5 other members. Which one would you prefer, the Honorable Udo?
Honorable Speaker, I'm sure there are quite a number of my colleagues who share with my views, but since I have not spoken to them because we have just been ambushed, I seek the benevolent sympathy of the Speaker so that we put this matter a day or so will not be harmful. We will not bring this country to a standstill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
I'm very sympathetic to your case, the Honorable Dr. Undo. The only problem is when you are seeking the sympathy, you do not also show that you have the capacity to marshal members. Because if indeed you have, then you should not even talk about it. You should allow them to be marshaled quickly, 5 members. But I'm sympathetic to your case. You look like you deserve some sympathy. So this is deferred. This is deferred. That particular one is deferred. I think, let me confirm whether we are going to do it tomorrow or Tuesday, because we really have to be sure that we'll be dealing with the amendments you are proposing. Honorable members, just let's say we will have it next week. Next week, considering, of course, also that we have some activity in the House on Tuesday. So whichever of the other 2 days, I'm sure we'll be able to deal with that particular one. So accepted. Next order.
Order number 13, Committee of the Whole House.
Honourable members, you can resume your seats. Please take your seats. Members, order, honourable members. Honourable members, we're on the Committee of the Whole House to debate on the schedule the Community Groups Registration Bill, National Assembly Bill, number 35 of 2021. Allow the members who are walking out just to do so that we can have some decorum in the House as we start our business on the Committee of the Whole House.
Clause 3.
I propose a question which is that Clause 3 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment for the Chairperson, Parliamentary Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. But let me also note that we were listed to be the second one and not the first.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for some report from our clerk. This has put us off guard. Honorable Speaker.
You are waiting for a report from the clerk.
Yes.
To your committee.
There's something I'm waiting for, and I'm not even prepared.
The report, you have it. I can see.
I have it, yes, Honorable Chair, but
yes,
I think it's also disorganizing for this thing to be interchanged, just like that. Honorable Chair, I propose that Clause 3 be amended as it appears in the order paper. And
what is your import on the same?
Honorable Chair, this is just an inclusion of we just inserting a new paragraph, Honorable Chair, that expands the objective, and that is paragraph GA, which is on approving, monitoring, and evaluating the budget proposals. That's part of the Social Development Committee. We just expanding the mandate, Honorable Speaker.
I propose a question which is that Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the committee chair. We have the member for Naval Hollow, Honorable
Thank you, Chair.
Wangwe Emmanuel.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just to set the record straight now that he has mentioned that this is a new clause. Are we in order then to proceed with it as it is, or it will mean you'll include it during the new clauses? As a matter of procedure, Madam Chair.
Can you clarify, Honorable Chairperson, clarify on clause number 3?
Yeah, we are inserting a new paragraph, Honorable Speaker, and that is paragraph GA. I didn't quite get what the Chief Whip wants to know.
That it is not a new clause.
It's a new paragraph, not a new clause.
It's not a new clause.
It's not a new clause.
Very well.
Thank you.
Honorable Whip, majority, it's not a new clause, it's a new paragraph, so we are quite in order. So I welcome the member for Muhoroni. You want to speak to this? There's a comment to this?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm a member of the committee. I support my chairman.
You support your chair. Members, I move to put the question, which is that Clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Will as many as of this opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as many as of the opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question to Clause 3, which is that Clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Members, even the chairman and your committee, we know how we do. You know how we do our laws in the House. Let's not forget. And I move to put the question, which is that Clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of our opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Clause 4.
I propose a question, which is that Clause. I propose the question, which is that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Members, we have no amendment to Clause 4. And I confirm, because in my paper I confirm we have no proposed amendment to Clause 4. I move to put the question, members, which is that Clause 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as of a opinion say nay? There is next clause.
Clause 5.
I propose the question which is that clause 5 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment to clause 5. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 5 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Chair, this amendment is necessitated in order to enhance fair and diverse representation of Social Development Committee by drawing the membership from national government, county government, and sub-counties. Honorable Speaker, the amendment also is necessitated in order to align the bill with Article 232 of the Constitution, which provides that one of the principles and values of public service is ethic and regional balance and inclusion of persons with disability in making public appointments.
Very well. With that import, members, I propose the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair of the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. I see no interest to speak to this. Neither have moved to put the question, which is that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. I move to put the question, which is that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Next.
Clauses 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I propose the question, which is that clauses 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. Or members, we have no proposed amendment to these clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 6, 7, 8, and 9 be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question, members, which is that clause 10 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chairperson on behalf of the committee.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 10 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Speaker, this is necessitated to correct some grammatical error and to align inconsistently used terminology.
Very well. With that import, members, I propose the question, which is that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the committee. I see no interest to speak to this. We seems to be all in agreement. And I move to put the question, members, which is that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Members, I put the question to clause 10, which is that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Your honorable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendments to clause 11, and neither have I moved to put the question to the clause, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. As many as are of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as are of opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I propose the question, which is that clause 12 be part of the bill. Honorable members of the House, we have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please move your proposed amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose that clause 12 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Chair, the import of that is to amendment is to ensure that the law does not aid in the registration of community group whose object is to promote immorality. Also, Honorable Chair, the amendment also seeks to protect existing NGOs and PBOs and avert confusion that may arise when different organizations registered under the various legal regimes bear the same names.
Very well. Very well. With that import, members, I propose a question to clause 12, which is that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. Or Honorable Member for Moroni, you want to say something?
No, loyally supporting my chair.
You are really supporting your
deliberated
chair.
everything in the committee.
Then I see no more interest to speak to the same. And members, I put the question, which is at clause 12, be amended as proposed by the chairperson. As many as are of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. There is I put the question to the clause 12, which is that clause 12 as amended be part of the bill. Members, as many as are of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose a question, members, which is that clause 13 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please move your proposed amendment. Yeah, we cannot see you on your request. Honorable Member Press. Yes, that you're requesting to speak. Yes. Yeah, because you need to be unanswered. We are trying to get your...
The intervention is...
Honorable Chairperson, please can you use the mic next to you?
Okay, I'm okay now, Honorable Chair.
Now you're okay.
Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 13 be amended as it appears in the order paper. This amendment, Honorable Chair, is necessitated to provide an appeal mechanism for a person aggrieved by the decision of the Director of Social Development refusal to register a community group.
Very well. With that, members, I propose the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I move to put Honorable... Oh, yeah, still, I thought you wanted to speak to this because you proposed. Honorable Onyango, Muhammad from Moroni.
Yes, Chair, as I stated before, I'm a loyal member of this committee, and everything we are discussing here, we discussed them in our committee and passed them. So I want to support support the views presented by my chair.
Very well, because you had requested to speak to it. So, members, I put the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. As many as are of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as are contrary say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question to clause 13, which is that clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. Members, as many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 14 and 15.
I do propose a question. I propose a question which says clauses 14 and 15 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to the two clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 14 and 15 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
I propose a question, which is that clause 16 members be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please move your proposed
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose that clause 16 be amended as it appears in the order paper. The import of this, Honorable Chair, is to ensure that the assets of the community group are distributed and outstanding claims settled in accordance to the community group's constitution.
With that import, I propose a question, which is that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. No interest to speak to this, and I move to put the question, which is that clause 16 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I move to put the global question to clause 16, which is that clause 16 be as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 17.
I propose a question, honorable members, which is that clause 17 be part of the bill. Chair, please move your proposed amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose that clause 17 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Chair, this amendment is it's brought about to allow community groups that have merged to change their names if need be.
To change their names if needy. I move to propose a question to clause 17, which is that clause 17 as be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honorable Tenui Kiprotich, Bomet Central, you want to make a comment on clause 17?
I want to support that amendment.
You want to support the amendment?
Because I believe it will ease the working of these groups.
Very well. Then member for Navajo, the Honorable Emmanuel Wagwe.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I wish to support this amendment, but with a small rider that in future, through the Chair Labour, let that notice be very clear. Clarity in terms of the notice should be very clear, so that those groups which are merging, Honorable Chair, should not just merge today, issue the notice today, and they want to assume office tomorrow. Otherwise, they now circumvent the rules and end up maybe, if they have a problem, resolve, make a solution which is not really in it. In future, let the notice also be clear.
You are saying in future, so for now you are supporting?
Thank you.
Are you supporting being record?
Yes, I'm supporting.
You are supporting. For that matter, honourable members, I put the question, which is that clause 17 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 17, which is that clause 17 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it, members.
Clauses 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31.
I propose the question, which is at clauses 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 be parts of the bill. Members, we have no proposed amendments to these clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 32.
I propose the question, which is that clause 32 be part of the bill. Chairperson, you have a proposed amendment on behalf of the committee to clause 32. Please move it.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I propose that clause 32 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Honorable Chair, the amendment seeks to ensure accountability in the management of accounts of the community groups, so that handover of money or other assets by an outgoing treasurer to an incoming treasurer is done in accordance with the community group's constitution and any other written laws.
We are very well, Chairperson, with that important of your proposed amendment. Members, I propose the question, which is a clause 32 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson. The member for Mwingi West, CNN Ngosia Ngo.
Yes.
Nguna Ngosia.
Yes, Chair. Ngosia Nguna.
Ngosia Nguna.
CNN. Yes. Yes, Chair. I think I'm supportive this because accountability in these groups are very critical, Madam Chair. So I do support.
You support.
Yes.
Member for Bomet Central.
Thank you, Chair. I think this will encourage transparency. It's important to have that transparency.
You support. Thank you. Then with that, I move to put the question, which is that clause 32 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honourable members, as many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as are of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I move to put now the global question to clause 32, which is that clause 32 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of this opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39.
Members, I propose the question which is at clauses 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39 be part of the bill. And here we have no proposed amendments to these clauses, and I have moved to put the question to the same, which is at clauses 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a corner opinion say nay. There is
Clause 40.
I propose the question which is at clause 40 be part of the bill. Chairperson, for behalf of the committee, you have a proposed amendment.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Chair, I propose that clause 40 be amended as it appears in the order paper. This amendment, Honorable Chair, is necessitated to create clarity on matters that the Cabinet Secretary may be required to prescribe in the regulations, which include procedures, requirements, and guidance on registration, suspension, cancellation, reinstatement, or registration of any community group, including special interest group, and guidelines on community group management.
Very well. I propose the question, members, honorable members, which is a clause 40 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. I put the question because we have no interest in this, which is that clause 40 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 40, which is that clause 40 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a corner opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 41.
I propose the question, honorable members, which is that clause 41 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to clause 41, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clause 41 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Schedules. First schedule.
I propose the question which is at the first schedule be part of the bill. On the first schedule, we have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please, can you move your...
Honorable Chair, we have an amendment in the second schedule.
Yes, not in the first.
Not the first schedule.
Very well, it's good to be on record. For schedule 1, I now then move to put the question now that we have no proposed amendment to schedule 1, which is that schedule 1 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Second schedule.
I propose a question which is that second schedule be part of the bill. Now here we have a proposed amendment, Chair.
We do, Honorable Chair.
Very well.
Honorable Chair, the Committee on Labor and Social Welfare proposes that the second schedule be amended as it appears in the order paper. The justification for this, Honorable Speaker, is the amendment seeks to require that a constitution of the community groups shall provide for the procedures for handling of distribution, disposal, and sharing of assets, and upon voluntary dissolution. This is geared towards ensuring transparency and accountability in handling the assets of the community group upon dissolution.
Well, okay, then with that import, members, I propose a question which is that second schedule be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as are of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. On the global question to the second schedule, members, I put the question which is that second schedule as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question, which is that clause 2 be part of the bill. The Honorable Chair, you have a proposed amendment to clause 2. Please, can you move it?
Yes. Yes, Honorable Chair. The committee proposes that clause 2 be amended as it appears in the order paper. The objectives, the justification for this, Honorable Chair, is that the objectives of the group are not limited to charitable and public benefits objectives, as is the case with NGOs and PBOs, as espoused in the Non-Governmental Organization Coordination Act and the Public Benefits Organization Act 2013. In this case, the amendment is necessary to exclude NGOs and PBOs from the definition of the community groups to avoid creating confusion and on the nature of the community groups. Also, Honorable Chair, the amendment also necessitated to create clarity on the meaning of the term civil society organizations, community group constitution, non-governmental organization, and public benefits organization, which are often interchangeably used, yet the terms are distinct. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Yet the terms are distinct. With that import, members, I now propose the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I see no interest to this, and I move to put the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Members, as many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 2, which is that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. To clause 2.
Title.
I propose the question, members, which is that the title be the title to the bill. We have no proposed amendment to the title, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that the title be the title to the bill. Members, as many as of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question, which is that clause 1 be part of the bill. I see no proposed amendment to clause 1, and honourable members, I move to put the question to clause 1, which is that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honourable members, we are through with the committee of the whole house on the Community Groups Registration Bill, National Assembly Bill number 35 of 2021, and I call upon the mover to move the reporting. You move the reporting.
Honourable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Community Groups Registration Bill, the National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Very well, the mover, the leader of majority, to the bill. I therefore now call upon now, with that reporting, then I put the question for reporting, which is that, honourable members, the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Community Groups Registration Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments. Now we have the sergeant at times. I don't know whether they are supposed to freeze. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as many as have a count of opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Members, we are going to proceed to a different bill in the committee of the whole house. Other members, we must sanitize this seat, as even the clerks is in their seat. Order. The members who are walking in, please just do so that we can start the business on the committee of the whole house on the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021. Very well. Order, members, we are now in the committee of the house on the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021. Can you call the clauses?
Clause 3.
I propose the question which is that clause 3 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the Chair, Transport, Public Works and Housing. Chairperson, please move your amendment. Chairperson to move your proposed amendment on behalf of the committee on clause 3.
1 second, Madam Speaker, they have disorganized it completely.
You are disorganized, some they have disorganized.
No, of course, I can't be.
I know you cannot be.
But my guys, 1 minute.
Which guys, they don't? No, I give you time to get organized with your team. Yes, it's a very critical bill. And please, can you organize the chairman? I see now the chairman is
yes.
Organized, and you are very...
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very observant.
I beg to move.
Yes, on clause 3.
Yes, I beg to move the amendments to clause 3 as it is on the order paper. And Honorable Chair, what are our reasons or motives? We are proposing that the House agrees with us in amending clause 3, which of course then I will not read, Madam Chair. But the reasons are to require the Cabinet Secretary to prescribe the threshold within 6 months of the coming into force of the Act. Why? Because it would not be prudent, as it was earlier, Madam Speaker, to set a limit in the clause itself, as it amounts to subject to inflation and escalation, Madam Chair. So we're thinking that because of that, to accommodate inflation and so on, Madam Chair, that decision should be left to the CS, so that you can actually do it in real time, so that it doesn't stay for like 10 years. It's the same figure. It will actually affect both landlords and tenants. I thank you.
Very well. So, members, with that input from the chairperson, I propose the question, which is at clause 3, be amended and proposed by the chairperson. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as are of that opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 3, which is that clause 3 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as are of that opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 4.
I propose the question, which is that clause 4 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by you, Chair, please.
Yes,
thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, I stand to propose the amendments to clause 4 as it is on the order paper. What are our reasons, Madam Chair? The reasons are to rename the tribunal as the landlord and tenant tribunal, and to provide for the chairperson and room for the appointment of several deputy chairpersons who may be designated to preside over sitting of the tribunal as and when required across the country. This will ensure access to justice across the country. And Madam Speaker, what it means in layman's understanding is that the bill provided for only 5 people, called the tribunal. And we saw, Madam Chair, in consultation with the partners, which is of course public participation, which is judicial, the ministry, that is housing, both tribunals now which we are collapsing into one, we realized that only providing 5 to resolve these issues. And you know, Madam Speaker, we are collapsing the regulations or procedures of resolving issues affecting residential and commercial. And therefore, if you leave 5 people, Madam Speaker, doing that work in the entire country, is going to be not possible. So what we did, Madam Speaker, in consultation with the judiciary and everybody, is that let us allow the judiciary to appoint as many deputies as possible. It's just like it's going to be like judges. You appoint as many as possible, depending. Oh, that's enough. So it's understood. I thank you, Madam. That is actually thank you, my leader of majority. That is the gist, Madam Speaker. We are expanding.
That's the gist.
Thank you.
Thank you for the summarizing. At least I know when you summarize, even the members will understand it better. Thank you, Chairperson. With that import of the proposed amendment by the Chair, I propose a question which is a clause 4 be amended as proposed by the Chairperson. The member for Suba North, Honorable Emilio Diambo.
Chair, I was actually going to suggest that we take the zebra approach, but given the suggestion that he has given, the zebra approach, which is basically gender considerations, but given the proposal that is given, that may not be feasible at this point, we will just urge that they ensure that they adhere to the constitutional requirements. I support.
Then I move to put the question to clause 4, which is that clause 4 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as have that opinion say aye. As many as have called opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question to clause 4, which is that clause 4 as amended be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. And as many as have called opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 5 and 6.
I propose a question which is that clauses 5 and 6 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to the 2 clauses, and neither have moved to put the question which is that clauses 5 and 6 be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. As many as have a court of opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question which is that clause 7 be part of the bill. Chair, you have a proposed amendment to clause 7?
Yes, I propose that clause 7 be amended as it is on the order paper. And these are our reasoning, Madam Chair, coming of course from public participation. To replace the reference to the High Court with Environment and Land Court. This, Madam Chair, will align the bill with the new constitution dispensation. Currently, land and environment matters are actually handled by or in the Environment and Land Court. I thank you, Madam Chair.
With that, I propose a question, members, which is that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I put the question, which is that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as have that opinion say aye, and as many as have a counter opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 7, which is that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as have a counter opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 8 and 9.
I propose the question, which is that clauses 8 and 9 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendments to the clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 8 and 9 be part of the bill. Honourable members, as many as have that opinion say aye, and as many as have a counter opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question to clause 10, which is that clause 10 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move amendments from my committee to clause 10 as it is on the order paper. What's our reasoning, Madam Chair? Reasoning is this will separate the role of chairperson of the tribunal and that of the CEO. It's just as clear as that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
It's separation of the roles. So
Yes.
with that one, I propose the question to clause 10, which is that clause 10 be amended as proposed by the chair. I see no interest. I put the question, which is that clause 10 be amended proposed by the chair. As many as of that will say aye. As many as of that of a contrary opinion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it. And I put the question to clause 10, which is that clause 10 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
I propose the question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. In clause 11, we have no amendment, and I move to put the question, which is that clause 11 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
I propose the question, which is that clause 12 be part of the bill. Honourable Chairperson, you have a proposed amendment?
Yes.
Please
Thank you.
move your amendment.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move my amendments to clause 12 as it is on the order paper. And our reasons are that we are attempting to establish the position of the Chief Executive Officer of the Tribunal so that that person is in charge of the management of the day-to-day running of the Tribunal. Thank you, Madam Chair.
With that import, I propose a question to clause 12, which is that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. I put the question, which is that clause 12 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 12, which is that clause 12 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. Remember, the ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose the question, which is that clause 13 be part of the bill. Chair, you have a proposed amendment on behalf of the committee on clause 13?
Yes, Madam Chair. I beg to move our amendment to clause 13 as it is on the order paper. And we have two reasons, Madam Chair, in supporting our proposed amendments to clause 13. One is, Madam Chair, to require a qualified medical practitioner to certify any illness proposed as ground for the removal of the member of the tribunal. It was not there in the original bill, Madam Chair. Two, to include professional misconduct by a member belonging to the profession association as a ground also for removal, Madam Chair. Those are the two important reasons that will warrant somebody to be removed from the tribunal. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well, with that import, and of course, why you are doing the proposed amendment. And the members, your committee members, Chair, they seem not very well. I propose the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chair. Yes, the committee members, I can say. The member for Bomet Central, you want to say something on this? Member for Bomet Central. Member for Bomet Central, you're on intervention. You want to say something to close? Member for Bomet Central, yes, on close.
It was on the previous one.
Yes.
We just gone through.
Very well, very well. Member for Pokot South. And the Pokot South, you are the chair. So with no interest to speak to this, I put the question, which is that clause 13 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. As many as of that opinion say aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 13, which is that clause 13 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And members, you need to participate to this. You know how we got highs and days. And that's how we make a decision in the House. Very well. We move on.
Clauses 14, 15, and 16.
I propose the question which is that clauses 14, 15, and 16 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to this, and I move to put the question which is that clauses 14, 15, and 16 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. And as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
I propose the question which is that clause 17 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Transport, Public Works and Housing, move your proposed amendment.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move our amendments to clause 17 as it is on the order paper. And our reasoning there, Madam Chair, is very clear. We are deleting the term fair rent in the clause and replace it with the term rent payable for purposes of clarity in that clause, Madam Chair. I thank you.
Very well. With that import, I propose the question which is that clause 17 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I put the question which is that clause 17 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. As many as are of that opinion say aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 17, which is that clause 17 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose the question which is that clause 18 be part of the bill. Chairperson, you have a proposed amendment. Please move it.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have a proposed amendment to clause 18. And I beg to move that the House agree with us to our amendments to clause 18 as it is on the order paper. And our reasoning, Madam Chair, is this, that to delete the provision of access to persons with disability as a basis of a landlord increasing rent, Madam Chair. Why? Because the law currently requires that design of any new building must provide access for persons with disability. So it's a right, Madam Chair. So nobody should increase rent when you are providing for access to disability, Madam Chair. I thank you.
Very well. I propose order, members. Order. Please consult in law terms. And this member, seriously, you cannot do this. Order. We're in the committee, but you don't do this. You don't do. Let us teach ourselves how to do. Let me not mention the member, but you are out of order. I may not mention your name for the. Yes, but he knows what is right. Let's see. The member knows what is right. Very well. Thank you. I propose the question which is that clause 18 be amended and proposed by the chairperson. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 18, which is that clause 18 be as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
I propose the question which is that clause 19 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment.
Yes, I thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that the House agree with us in our amendments to clause 19 as it is on the order paper. And our reasoning, Madam Chair, is simple. It is to provide for a notice period of at least 60 days for a residential property and 90 days for a commercial premise, Madam Chair, to reduce conflict with regard to terminations of leases. I thank you, Madam Chair.
I propose the question, members, which is that clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Transport, Public Works and Housing. No interest to speak to this. I put the question which is a clause 19 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question to clause 19, which is that clause 19 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 20, 21, and 22.
Members, I propose a question which is that clauses 20, 21, and 22 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendments by the committee or any member, and I move to put the question, which is that clauses 20, 21, 22 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
I propose a question which is a clause 23 be part of the bill. Chairperson. The chairperson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move that the House agree with us in our proposed amendments to clause 23 as it is on the order paper. And there's a very simple reason, Madam Chair, which is to shift the offense. This is a clause on offense.
Are you shifting? Are you deleting? I can. You are deleting.
Yeah, bill by amending, by deleting.
Yes.
Clause 23, and therefore we are shifting that one to clause 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that's where the offenses are.
Mm-hmm.
So we are taking it to clause 50, Madam Chair.
Very
Thank
well.
You. Yes.
I propose the question which is that clause 23 be deleted as proposed by the chair. Members, I put a question which is that clause 23 be deleted as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Now yes, we were deleting, so we may not want to go. The clause has been deleted. Yes, we move.
Clause 24.
I propose a question which is that clause 24 be part of the bill. No proposed amendment, and I move to put the question which is that clause 24 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
I propose a question, honourable members, which is that clause 25 be part of the bill. Honourable Chair, you have a proposed amendment to clause 25. Please move it.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that the House agrees with us in our proposed amendment to clause 25 as it is on the order paper. What are our reasoning, Madam Chair? We have two reasoning. One is to prescribe a 90-day notice period with regard to business premises and a 60-day notice period with regard to residential premises before termination, Madam Chair, of any tenancy. And our second reason is to allow the termination of a tenancy where a tenant has defaulted in payment of rent for 1 month following the last date the payment was made, Madam Chair, so that it is acceptable for tenants and also for the landlords, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Very well. Then with that import, members, I propose the question to clause 25, which is that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. I move to put the question to clause 25, which is that clause 25 be amended as proposed by the chair. All members, as many as of that will say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question to clause 25, the global question, which is that clause 25 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that will say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 26.
I propose the question which is that clause 26 be part of the bill. No proposed amendment to this, and I move to put the question which is that clause 26 be part of the bill. Honourable members, as many as are of this opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I propose the question, members, which is that clause 27 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment on clause 27.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move amendment in clause 27 as it is on the order paper. And what we are trying to do here, Madam Chair, this is still on notices. We are harmonizing this, the requirement of this clause, so that it goes together with the clause 25. And as you see, Madam Chair, what we are saying is to harmonize the provision of Clause 25(1)(c), which we've just handled, and allow the termination of tenancy where a tenant has defaulted in payment of rent for 1 month following the last date of payment of the dues. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well. So with that import, members, I propose the question which is that Clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I move to put the question on Clause 27, which is a Clause 27 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honourable members, as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of our opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the global question to Clause 27, which is that Clause 27 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of our opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 28.
I propose a question which is that Clause 28 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to Clause 28. And members, I move to put the question which is that Clause 28 be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Clause 29.
I propose the question which is that Clause 29 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the committee, by the chair.
I thank you, Madam Chair, and I beg to move our amendment to Clause 29 as it is on the order paper. And our motive, Madam Chair, is simple. This is to allow the landlord who requires a possession of the property for purposes of conversion through change of user to give a notice in this regard, so that doesn't do without a notice. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So it's about giving the notice on that regard. So with that input from the chair, members, I propose a question which is that Clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Bomet Central is consulting. I put the question which is that Clause 29 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the global question to Clause 29, which is that Clause 29 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay, members, the ayes have it.
Clauses 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35.
Our members, I propose the question which is a clauses 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 be part of the bill. Here we have no proposed amendments, and then I move to put the question which is that clauses 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it.
Clause 36.
I propose the question which is that clause 36 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment to clause 36.
Yes, I thank you, Madam Chair, and for allowing me to move my amendment to clause 36 as it is on the order paper. And the motive upon which we decided to do that, Madam Chair, is to require the tribunal to consult a practicing valuer before deciding on any rent payable. I thank you, Madam Chair.
The practicing valuer. Then with that important members, I propose a question which is that clause 36B amended as proposed by the chair. No interest to speak to this. Member for KU South, Nabarono?
No, Chair, I'm comfortable.
You are comfortable,
yes.
So you are supporting. Then I move to put the question to clause 36, which is that clause 36 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes. Then I move to put the question to clause 36, which is that clause 36 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of our contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43.
All members, I propose the question which is that clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43 be part of the bill. I see no proposed amendments to these clauses, and members, I move to put the question, which is that clauses 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43 be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 44.
I propose a question which is that clause 44 be part of the bill. Chair, you have a proposed amendment to clause 44. Please move your amendment.
Yes, I do, Madam Chair, and
Yes.
I thank you. I beg to move that the House do agree with us as committee to amendment to clause 44 as it is on the order paper. Our reasoning, Madam Chair, is as follows, that the import of our amendment is to prescribe a definite notice period upon the lapse of tenancy. The amendment, Madam Chair, requires a person retaining possession of premises after the lapse of tenancy to give either the notice specified in the previous agreement, which is 1 month notice, and in the case of residential, Madam Chair, and 2 months in the case of commercial business, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Very well. Then with that one, members, I propose a question which is that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the Chair, Transport, Public Works and Housing. And that is the Honorable Rono Kipkoge. K yourself.
I only wanted to add some meat on that, Madam Chair.
Yes.
It is very important to be specific, because here we are dealing with individuals, we are dealing with people, and their comfort in premises they have paid for is paramount. So I support the amendment. Yes.
Very well. Then now I move to put the question, which is that clause 44 be amended as proposed by the Chair. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Put the question to clause 44, the global question, which is that clause 44 as amended be part of the bill. Members, as many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 45.
Members, I propose the question, which is that clause 45 of the bill be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to clause 45, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clause 45 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next clause.
Clause 46.
Honourable members, I propose a question, which is that clause 46 be part of the bill. The Honourable Chairperson, you have a proposed amendment to clause 46. Please move it.
Yes, I thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that the House do agree with us in our amendments as it is, amendment to clause 46 as it is on the order paper. And we have two reasons or inputs, Madam Chair. One is to insert a missing words for purposes of clarity in subsection 1, and 2, our motive is, or our input is, to require a landlord to provide for copies of receipts for reasonable expenses incurred for repairing the promise to the tenant, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. With that, then, your input or justification on the clause 46, and members, now I propose the question, which is that clause 46 be amended as proposed by the Chair. I have the Honourable Member for Vunyula, Honourable Undo Jambo.
Chair, thank you. As much as the proposed amendments are laudable and progressive, however, the use of the word reasonable expenses looks a bit misguided, because an expense to repair a damaged aspect or a damaged part of the building is an actual expense. The issue of reasonable expense, I do not know where it comes from. I do not know how the chair intends to enforce what's a reasonable expense and which is not a reasonable expense. Instead, being straightforward, that will be a reimbursement based on actual receipts for the work done. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So are you supporting or you want a justification on the reasonable?
Yeah, probably if the chair can explain what's reasonable.
Yes.
How do they intend to measure
the
reasonability, the reasonable expenses? Otherwise, I would suggest that probably we just make it a direct reimbursement for the expenses incurred based on the receipts or actual measured works of the works done, because that's a simple, straightforward and scientific process.
Very well. Chair, please, maybe you can confirm to the Honorable Member for Funyula on the extent of the, what do you mean by reasonable and what is the extent of the reasonable?
You see, Madam Chair, there's no fixed cost and particularly when you're doing repairing. So if you get this is about repairing a house and you are giving the receipts to the tenant, because if you look at the law, that if you want to increase your rent at the time of increasing rent, one of the things that you must increase, if you are to increase rent, it must be that you have done something to the house, whether repair and so on. And therefore it should be reasonable, Madam Chair.
Should be reasonable.
Yes, should be reasonable. Because there's no if you go to one fundi will say this, another fundi will say another one. So but it should not be unreasonable. Should be reasonable, Madam Chair. That is the best. That's the best, and we are human beings.
Reasonable. Then with that, honourable members, it is up to the House to take a vote on this. Order, members. Some order. Honourable members, let us have one committee of the whole. I put the question which is that clause 46 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. On a global question to clause 46, I put the question, honourable members, which is a clause 46 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clauses 47, 48, and 49.
Honourable members, I propose the question which is that clauses 47, 48, and 49 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to these clauses, and I therefore move to put the question which is that clauses 47, 48, and 49 be part of the bill. Honourable members, as many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 50.
I propose the question which is a clause 50 be part of the bill. I see we have a proposed amendment by the chair. Chairperson, move your proposed amendment to clause 50.
I thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that the House will agree with us in our proposal to amend clause 50 as it is on the order paper. And this is, Madam Chair, our input or our reasoning is to include the offences and penalties contained in clause 23 and 43(2) in the clause for logical flow of the bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
For logical flow of the bill. Then with that, members, I propose the question which is a clause 50 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I put the question to clause 50, which is that clause 50 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Remember, as many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 50, which is that clause 50 as amended be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it.
Clauses 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58.
I propose the question which is at clauses 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to these clauses, and therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, and 58 be part of the bill. Honorable members, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 59.
I propose a question, which is that clause 59 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment. I see we have one.
I thank you, Madam Chair, and I beg to move that the House to agree with us with our proposal to amend clause 59 as it is on the order paper. We have two reasonings, Madam Chair, or two imports. One is to reduce the period within which tenancy is to terminate upon death or dissolution of a tenant from 60 days to 30 days, Madam Chair. And the second reasoning is to require, or that amendment will is to require a representative of a deceased person to produce relevant identification and legal documents to gain access to rental premises for purposes of removing a dead tenant's property. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very well, with that import, of course, members, and of course, very well explained, I move to propose the question, which is that clause 59 be amended as proposed by the chair. The member for Funyula, you want to make a comment on this? No, just be on record.
Not on this. I think this is perfectly in order.
Yes.
It improves the existing laws.
It's in order, you support.
Yes.
Therefore, move to put the question, which is that clause 59 be amended as proposed by the chair. Members, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question, the global question, clause 59, which is that clause 59 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it.
Clause 60.
I propose the question, which is that clause 60 be part of the bill. We seem to have a proposed amendment by the chairperson. Please move your proposed amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that the House do agree with us in our proposal to amend clause 60 as it is on the order paper. Our input, Madam Chair, is as follows. One is to require a landlord to keep a register of their tenants next of kin, so they can avoid a lot of issues. If what happened, which we have just passed, happened, Madam Chair, that's the main reason. I thank you, Madam Chair.
That is the main reason. Then the members have reason, having listened to your input on the same, I propose the question to clause 60 on members, which is that clause 60 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honorable Bomet Central. The Honorable Bomet Central, I can see you on. You want to say something on this? No, okay, you're south. Sorry. Honorable, you're south. Bomet is not in the house.
I wanted to say, I want to say something, and it's a good amendment, Madam Chair.
On clause 60.
Yes, because sometimes if you don't keep these registers, some funny guys come asking for those properties of the deceased, and it can go to wrong hands. And sometimes some of these properties are very expensive, and later on the right people now will show up, and then of course the landlord will be liable. So it's a very, very important.
It's a very important and good proposed amendment by the chairperson on behalf of the committee. So with that debate, the member for Moya, Honorable Wachira Kabinga, you want to make a comment on this, on clause 60, before I put the question?
Honorable Chair, I wasn't aware that my intervention was on, but all the same, I want to support that particular
Yes.
amendment.
Yes.
And also take note that the Honorable Member for Pokot South is really doing very well.
The member for Pokot South is doing very well.
Thank you.
And that is the chairperson. Then with that one, of course, let me hear from the member for Funyula, the member Honorable Ondo
Chair.
Ojambo.
Chair, I think that particular amendment is good. It simply reinforces what already exists. With the passage of the Kaluma bill on succession, I think we have resolved and covered these shenanigans that happens quite often. And probably this could actually be redrafted with making reference to that amendment that was assented to, so that we tie up all the laws in respect of succession and the claims upon death of some funny characters who emerge from the woods. Thank you, Honorable
Very
Chair.
well, and Honorable Kaluma is in the house. Honorable Kaluma. Very well. Yes, Honorable Kaluma is in the house. Yes, very well. Then I move to put the question, which is that clause 60 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the question, which is a global question, to clause 60, which is that clause 60 as amended be part of the bill. Honorable members, as many as of that opinion say aye? And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 61 and 62.
I propose the question, which is that clauses 61 and 62 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to the two clauses, and I therefore move to put the question, which is that clauses 61 and 62 be part of the bill. Honorable members, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 63.
I propose the question, which is that clause 63 be part of the bill. We have a proposed amendment by the chair. Honorable Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have an amendment, and I beg to move that the House will agree with us to our proposed amendment to clause 63. And this is our reasoning, Madam, as it is on the order paper. This is our reasoning, Madam Chair. What is it? To require the Cabinet Secretary to seek the approval of the National Assembly whenever he or she seeks to exempt any premises from the provisions of this Act, Madam Chair. The original bill did not give this provision, so which means the Cabinet Secretary can do anything at any time. We don't want that to happen, Madam Chair. There should be checks and balances. I thank you.
Checks and balance, very well. I propose a question to clause 63, which is that clause 63 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honorable Member for Funyula.
Chair, let me admit I was caught off time. I would have actually made far-reaching amendments to that particular section, but as it stands, Honorable Chair, is the most progressive way to avoid a situation where the CS and anybody else misuses and exempts literally all the properties that are affected from the provisions of this Act. On that score, I support.
On that
Chair.
score, you support. The member for Moya.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, this is a very, very, very important amendment. Honorable Chair, if such an amendment is left out in an act, then the CS will be at liberty to exempt premises without any reference to this act.
Very well,
Honorable
you support. Then I put the question to the clause 63, members, which is a clause 63 be amended as proposed by the chair. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question to clause 63, which is a clause 63 as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 64.
I propose a question, which is a clause 64 be part of the bill. Chairperson, please move your proposed amendment on clause 64.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. And I beg to move that the House will agree with us to our proposed amendment to clause 64, as it is on the order paper. And what we are doing, Madam Chair, here is to give the Chief Justice, who will now make the regulations to make this act, if it becomes the act operational, we are giving them, or we are giving her or him 6 months to make the regulation, Madam Chair. I thank you.
Very well.
6 months.
6 months for that. So we have the, I proposed a question, which is that clause 64 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Honorable Member for Funyula, Honorable Ondo Jambo.
And Chair, I want the chair of the committee to listen and indulge us based on practicability. Chair, the same issue of timelines came up when we were doing the sugar bill. And based on the experience, those of us who sit in the delegated legislation committee, and based on the timelines required to prepare and submit a regulation in terms of drafting, public participation, validation, and the rest, is not practically possible to achieve that feat within 6 months. Honorable Chair, we discussed this matter, and I think it was already on answered and record that we'll retain the same tendency or same practice of at least giving whoever is responsible at least 1 year to prepare and have the entire process comply with the Statutory Instrument Act. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, we are proposing something that's not doable. And since there are no sanctions against the regulatory making authority, this is a wasted law, is just legislating in vain. So I request the chair to really move an amendment, a further amendment, and move it to 1 year. And I put this on record because 4 years sitting in the committee, I have sufficient experience to talk authoritatively. Thank you, Chair.
Before I give, before I give to the chair, maybe to make his comment, though I can see you are persuading him. Let me hear from the member from where? The Honorable Wachira Kabinga.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This issue of legislative regulations, I really don't understand why the affected authority should not be able to give us regulations within 6 months, Honorable Chair. And it's unfortunate that sometimes we labor so much on a bill just to have the ministry or other institutions that are charged with the responsibility of coming up with the regulations taking 2 years. Honorable Chair, that is not fair to this House that works so hard to ensure that the bills are worked on as quickly as possible. Honorable Chair, I think 6 months should be reasonable. I don't see why, with dedication, they should not be able to come up with the regulations, Honorable Chair.
Very well. Member for Keio South. Member for Keio South.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I also support the 6 months period. The reason being, if we cannot have two wrongs for a right, what we are saying here is a member for Funyula says he sits in the delegated committee and he has witnessed wrongs happening, and we cannot sit back and watch them continue happening. Systems should be put in place for this matter to be implemented in 6 months, and there is no reason why it cannot be. And I believe Honorable Chair of the committee actually deliberated on this at length, well. And that's how they came up with this. And we are encouraging people to meet the deadlines. We cannot go and encourage them not to meet the deadline by increasing timelines.
Very well.
That is wrong.
Thank you. Good comments. Before I give back to the chair, just to make a comment, can I have the member for the Leader of Majority, the Honorable Member for Kipi?
Yes, indeed, Honorable Chair. The original wording of the bill was, and which is consistent with what we've been doing on other bills, was the Chief Justice may make regulations. So it's not mandatory to make regulations, because if they are not needed, you don't need to make them. But it's obvious some regulations will be required for this law. And I'm persuaded by Honorable Odo and from his experience that if we then make it mandatory, let's also be reasonable with the time. So I'm actually persuaded, and I would like to persuade the chair of committee that we actually amend the 6 months to 1 year. Now that we are making it mandatory for the Chief Justice to make those regulations, let us also now also be reasonable.
Then let me hear very well. Let me lead of majority with that contribute. Let me hear from the chair. Honorable Chairperson, being you have proposed amendment by the on behalf of the committee. Yes, Honorable Chairperson.
You know, Madam Chair, this bill went through a very rigorous public participation, close to almost 3 months. And you know, this is a very emotive issue. Land, housing. We had many people came. So, Madam Chair, coming close to this, I think we can strike a compromise. And the compromise is, Madam Chair, we cannot also rule out experience from the delegated legislation committee, because we can also enrich and also benefit from them. And therefore, as my leader majority said, and I want to appreciate honorable members who are agreeing with us, that, Madam Chair, if you allow me, then I can move a further amendment.
It's the best way to do it. You move a further amendment if you're convinced a further amendment. Yes.
Yes, I want to move a further amendment.
Yes. On clause 6.4.
Deleting 6 to 12 months, from 6 months to 12 months.
You are moving your further amendment from 6 to 12 months.
Yes, because you know the Committee of Delegated Legislation is not there for no purpose. It's there so that we can learn from them.
Very well. Then with that, I propose the question, which is a clause 64 be further amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Member for Norfolk Hollow, Honorable Wangwe Emmanuel.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to support the chair on further amendment, especially, Honorable Chair, this when it will now come to a matter of regulations, it will again have to go to the Committee on Delegated Legislation, go back for public participation, and the entire process, Madam Chair, shall also be involving in terms of the period, the time. Therefore, I want to support him and thank him for his patience and understanding of what is the situation.
Very well. Then with that, members, I put the question, which is a clause 64 be further amended as proposed by the chair. And the further amendment is from 6 months to 1 year. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question to clause 64, which is a clause 64, as amended be part of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 65.
And remember, I proposed a question, which is that clause 65 be part of the bill. Chairperson, proposed amendment, please move it.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and I beg to move that the House do agree with us with our amendments to clause 65. And the biggest reason we are doing, and we are asking the House to agree with us, Madam Chair, is to delete the proposed repealing of Distress for Rent Act. Honorable Madam Chair, during the public participation, it was found out that the procedure on how to resolve conflicts between landlords and tenants, remember, Madam Speaker, both of them came before the committee. The tenants and landlords, the judiciary, the Attorney General, the Ministry, Department of Housing, all of them. And we went for a retreat, Madam Chair, and we found out that the bill had a major gap in terms of procedure on how to resolve issues or conflict between landlords and tenants. And we went through also the law. We found that Distress for Rent Act really has very good detail, and all of them agreed that this should be retained so that it can give them a clear way of resolving the conflict, Madam Chair, that arise from between the landlords and the tenants. And I want to ask the House to agree with us, Madam Chair, to give, otherwise it will be chaotic industry if we pass as it is, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Well. So with that important justification of the honorable member for Funyula, you know, you cannot debate on it until it is an asset of the House. So I propose the question, which is clause 65 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Let me have member for Funyula now.
Chair, If you read the totality of the bill, the way it's drafted and set, it's set in such a way, Honorable Chair, to delete the Distress for Rent Act. And I must confess and admit, Honorable Chair, I have not gone through the amendments since the process began. I just hope and pray that the Act throughout the amendments has clearly aligned it so that we don't have an overlap between this bill and the Rent Distress Act. I just hope and pray. And I just wanted to go on record that there must be cleaner process to ensure that whatever was made, provisions made here, that and the Rent Distress Act are not retained here, so that we have an overlap of a jurisdiction. The other is, Honorable Chair, it will become messy, it will become so bad and so embarrassing to the National Assembly. I hope our legal team have done their bit to clean up and make sure there is no overlap. And I say so, Honorable Speaker, out of, again, I have practiced and I implemented the three various acts for whooping 30 years. I know where the problems are, I know where the challenges are. I just hope the legal team has done its work properly. I just wanted to go on record that I've already raised my concerns, and I hope the legal team will clean it up.
Yeah, okay. You hope the legal team will clean it up. Let me have the member for... Has he come back? The member for Bomet Central is, I could see him consulting. No, let me have the member for Karachuonyo, the Honorable Kwame Adipo. Is consulting. Then the last one, the member for Moya Wachira Kabinga before.
No, Honorable Chair, my intervention was on the previous amendment, which was passed by the House. I just want to note that even after being given 1 year, I think the institutions should work hard and ensure that they do so. Because, Honorable Chair, there is no need of us working hard here for bills just to have the bills delayed in their implementation for 2-3 years because of some institutions.
We are on a
Honorable Chair.
different clause. Thank you. Well, your point taken. We are on clause now 65. Members, I put the question, which is that clause 65 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as are of this opinion say aye? And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question to clause 65, which is that clause 65 as amended be part of the bill. And remember, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 66.
I propose a question, which is a clause 66 be part of the bill. We have no proposed amendment to clause 66. I therefore move to put the question, which is a clause 66 be part of the bill. And remember, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Schedule.
I propose a question, which is that the schedule be the schedule to the bill. No proposed amendment to the schedule, and I put the question, which is that the schedule be the schedule to the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose a question, which is that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson, we have a proposed amendment to clause 2.
I beg to move, Madam Chair, that the House do agree with us again to our proposed amendments to clause 2. And the import, Madam Chair, is very simple. It's about definition. And because now two tribunals have been put together. So we are saying that then to define the tribunal established under the legislation and to the right section, so that it reads, tribunal means the landlord and tenant tribunal established under section 4. Thank you.
With that, I propose a question, members, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. I put the question, which is that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson. Will as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question to clause 2, which is that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. And remember, as many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question which is the title be the title, the bill. We have no amendment to the title, and I therefore move to put the question to the title. Members, which is the title be the title of the bill. As many as of that opinion say aye, and as many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question which is that clause 1 be part of the bill. Chair, we have no proposed, yes, honorable members, we have no proposed amendment to clause 1. I neither ever put the question to clause 1, which is that clause 1 be part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye, and as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Members, this brings us to the end of the committee of the whole house on the landlord and the landlord and tenant bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021, and I therefore call upon the mover, who is the leader of majority party in the house, to move the reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Very well. With that, members, I put the question for reporting, which of the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021, and its approval thereof with amendments. As many as are of this opinion say aye, and as many as have a contrary opinion say nay. Honourable members, the ayes have it.
Chair, on the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021. We start with the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021, the one that we've just completed.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021. I also request Honorable Wangwe to second the motion.
The Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I do second. Thank you.
I propose the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration the Landlord and Tenant Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2021. Honorable members, I direct that the next necessary steps in this particular bill to be undertaken when the matter will be set down on the order paper. The next one, the Community Groups Registration Bill,
National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2021. Chair.
Again, Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Community Groups Registration Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2021, and approved the same with amendment.
The mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report, and I also request the Honorable Wangwe to second the motion for agreement with the report of the House Committee of the whole House.
The Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I do second. Thank you.
I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable members, I also direct that this particular business will be completed when the matter will be set down in the order paper by the House Business Committee. I direct that we move to the next order on the order paper for today.
Order number 14, the Provident Fund Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2021, second reading.
Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Provident Fund Repeal Bill 2021 be now read a second time. And Honorable Speaker, the principal object of this bill is to repeal the Provident Fund Act, and the rationale is basically to have all the funds regulated under the Public Finance Management Act, which was passed by this House following the enactment of the new Constitution in 2010. As members will be aware, Honorable Speaker, the Provident Fund Act is an ancient piece of legislation that has been amended several times, and it can be traced back, I think, to the early 50s, where it was set up for the benefit of creating a provident fund for government employees. Now, this fund was meant to be supported through contributions by everyone in government, and initially it was referred to as the Government Staff Provident Fund, which was established through the so-called the Government Staff Fund Providence Ordinance, as the nomenclature was on laws. Now, Honorable Speaker, by dint of Section 24(8) of the Public Finance Management Act, the Cabinet Secretary for the Treasury is empowered to wind up a fund with the approval of the House, where it does appear to him or to the Treasury that that fund is not serving its intended purposes or has become defunct or dormant. And this is exactly the situation we have with this fund, which was started, has been overtaken by events. It's just been sitting there, doing nothing, and it's not being operationalized. And hence, we now need to move, close it off, move whatever balance there is into the consolidated fund, pay whatever is due to anyone, collect whatever is due to the fund from anyone, and we clean up the books so that now we move to the current pension schemes that are catering for people in the public service. Now, the Public PFM Act requires that this House be satisfied that the Cabinet Secretary has sustained and settled any claims due, and I know we went through this to the members of the public, from the fund and ascertain also that any claims due or owed by the public to the fund are also sorted out. And within the bill, we have those provisions where before winding up, we basically saying in clause 4 that before winding it up, the Cabinet Secretary will ascertain the status of the claims against the fund. We will also ascertain the status of the claims by the fund, and in terms of the membership of the fund, immediately before the commencement, they will only continue for a while, not more than 1 year, while the fund is being wound down. And basically, we provided a mechanism for transiting the dormant fund, which has a board, and I think this came out very clearly even when we were looking at the Asian Widows and Orphans bill, that these things were done in those days. They ceased being of use, but they continue being in the books, complete with the whole infrastructure, complete with the board, or earning some sitting allowances, doing nothing. Yet it's money that we should be spending on more better things for this republic. And hence, again, this is probably the second piece of legislation following what the House approved yesterday or this week on the repeal of the Asian Widows and Orphans pension fund. And this is exactly meant to suffer or to go through the same fate. So again, it's a very straightforward thing. We don't even need to debate it a lot. It's as straight as they come. And I know the committee has looked through it, the total agreement, and hence I want to urge the House that we take minimum time on a thing that is so straightforward so we can move on to another matter. But again, the long and short of it is that we have a provident fund that is not serving any purpose, that has been dormant for a long time, that is no longer required, and hence needs to be scrapped off the books. And the only way to do that is through a repeal of that law and to provide the transitional mechanism on how that fund will be wound up, and after winding up, how it will also be, how the liabilities due either way will be sorted. Those words I beg to move and ask the Honorable Shakil Shabil, who is a member of the Finance Committee, to second.
The Honorable Shakil Shabil.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. Honorable Speaker, I beg to second. As the Leader of the Majority has said, this is the defunct fund that has done nothing since 1986. It is the same as the Asian Widows Fund. What beats me is both of these have a board. Both of these have infrastructure. They have done absolutely nothing. The last transactions were in 1986, 87. And as much as it's good now to wind it up, I'm sure there are other such defunct funds that were set up by the colonial government. This one was for the majority leader has been kind. It is actually was only for Europeans. You're saying government servants, but they were very particular. It was for European government servants, nobody else. And it was working with the crown agents. And even if they were alive right now and they're widows, I don't think any of them would be now beneficiaries unless it's now going to the second level. So I do recommend that this be repealed. When it came to the committee, we insisted that there should be a termination audit to make sure, and you said there's termination procedure. I hope part of that termination procedure is an audit, what we call a termination audit, to see that there has been no mischief. Mr. Speaker, when we are closing these funds down, you will suddenly find mischief coming in. If there were any funds, they will disappear. There were other stuff, so we want to make sure that this doesn't allow for those people who might want to take advantage of this repeal. So the 1 year is the one recommended for the wind down, but I think the Attorney General's office, as part of the transitional arrangements, should already be informed to make sure that they are keeping a very close eye on any transactions that take place in the last year. Mr. Speaker, sir, I do second.
Honourable members, I propose that the Provident Fund repeal Bill National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2021 be now read a second time. The Honourable Tonui Kiprotich, member for Bomet Central, is he in the House? Is not in the House. The Honourable Angwe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to support the Provident Fund Repeal Bill, National Assembly Bill number 30 of 2021. As the mover did allude to the facts in the bill, this bill came into force in 1951, way before none of us, most likely, in this House was born. But it has lived on to today. It is of good essence that the Committee on Finance, which I must congratulate, has thought it wise that it's important they clean up the bill, since the bill has ceased its meaningfulness with the coming up of the PFM Act, especially after the repeals that were made onto this bill in the year 2012. Honourable Speaker, immediately after the Act came into force of the PFM Act in 2012. Honourable Speaker, this bill, actually, it was meant to benefit the colonial rulers, people who colonized us, who separated us from the whites and the blacks, but that time has now gone. It's important that we need not to invest more monies into this board and the administration of this fund. Yet, Honourable Speaker, we have moved on into the pension schemes. You find that, Honourable Speaker, we now have the pension schemes which are both serving the various categories of staff, at the same time the management of various organizations. So we don't have to really depend again on this very old school of a fund whose life has really expired. I wish, actually, Honourable Speaker, to use also this chance to ask maybe the Majority Leader to consider similar funds, if there are any, or any organizations, preferably to bring as an omnibus, so that we clean up many of these funds which are just actually filling up the balance sheet of the government, yet they are not meaningful at all to the country. Honourable Speaker, it's important. What makes me also happy is that in the report of the committee, they have proposed during the committee of the whole House that they'll be really enforcing, where they are asking the Auditor General to furnish the report of the Auditor General or the audit of the entire fund, such that, Honourable Speaker, if there are any liabilities or claims to the fund, let it be summarily put up in the House, and then the House shall have to express or debate it and have a position on how this fund has lapsed at that time. Honourable Speaker, that will be good, so that we don't have to live with the debts. Let's not live and see our children come and meet costs or bills which they were not really incurred during their time. So it's important, and I want to thank the committee for really thinking big and ensuring that during the committee of the whole House, they really come up with that. I also want to comment that in the report, there was no person, either corporate or individual, who submitted the memoranda towards this bill, and the committee had really advertised. So we lived up to the public participation clause of our constitution, and I want to thank the committee for that. Whether they did, there was nobody or no one corporate or individual did submit, but the report is open. We are very happy, and Honourable Speaker, I wish to really thank the committee for what they did and have tabled the report to us, and we look at this as a small bill, which I would want to seek my colleagues that we actually dispense it off very fast so that we look at other serious bills ahead of us. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
The Honorable Kwame. Adifo, member for Karachuonyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think this is a bill that should take a very short time because it served its purpose during the colonial days and soon after independence. And the people it was serving are no longer there. And I do not think it is serving anyone today. So the only thing we need to do is to ensure that if there are any funds remaining in that account, that fund does not disappear in the air. It is taken care of so that our assets are not lost. But I would say that the mover could get us out of this discussion so that we finish. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Kisumu, the Honorable Buyu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, yesterday we had an opportunity to rid the country of laws that are really redundant, and that law was on Asian Widows Pension Fund. And this is yet another opportunity to give the country freedom from hostage of laws that are really redundant, because this law, though this bill is archaic, it's colonial, it's redundant, and serves no purpose. It's been overtaken by time, and Honorable Speaker, I stand to support that we need to repeal it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Nguna Ngusia, member for Mwingi West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am raising on point of order, Mr. Speaker. Based on the mood of the House, let us close the matter. I support.
Yes. Is it the mood of the House?
Yes.
That they straightforward. Very well. I will call upon the leader of majority then. That it is really surprising that in any event, the Honorable Nguna Ngusia, there is nobody else who is interested in speaking to it. So it was just coming to the mover to reply. It is surprising that this kind of colonial relic of a law has stayed on our statute books for this long. It is a law that should have seen the very back door of our books, statute books, as soon as we attained independence. But lead of majority, you've done well. So I now invite you to reply.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank members for seeing the urgency of cleaning up some of these colonial relics, and thank the committee for agreeing with us in terms of doing it. And I can see concurrence within the House. So I want to thank everyone. And, you know, when a thing is so straightforward, we don't need to belabor the point. And I can see that mood in the House. So I want to thank members for this fast action and seek that probably in the course of tomorrow or that we should be able to clear this in the committee of the whole House so that we can clean up most of these issues. And with that, I beg to reply.
Very well. Honorable members, I direct that this matter to be set down on the order paper by the Business Committee so that the next necessary steps will be undertaken, and direct that we move on to the next business on the order paper.
Order number 15, the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute Bill, National Assembly Bill number 44 of 2020, second reading.
Leader of Majority.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute Bill of 2020 be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, the overarching objective of this bill is to give some legal recognition to a very important research institute that is currently hanging as an appendage of ministries, and at times it's not quite sure what it does, or what, you know, its anchorage does not give it the gravitas to be able to do what it needs to do. As you may remember, back in 1942, the colonial government established a central laboratory at Kabete in Nairobi. And this had the aim of initiating and developing industries to relieve the shortages of industrial goods after the, as part of the responses or mitigation to the effects of the Second World War. There were shortages, and then so we needed to create industries everywhere so that we can be innovative and, keep on the supply. And it's at this time that the Kenya Industrial Management Board, members of this house, a number of them will remember, there was a cooking fat called Kimbo. Kimbo came from this, the Kenya Industrial Management Board, Kimbo. And it's one of the innovative things that was created as a result of this, that cooking fat that was being done by the East Africa industries. So the Kimbo administered the central laboratory, which was later expanded again to a regional level, and its management was then taken over by the East African community. At what point it was renamed the East Africa Industrial Research Organization. Now fast forward to the 1970s, unfortunately, the East Africa community collapsed, and Kenya then did pass a Science and Technology Act, CAP 250, again with the mandate to conduct research on industrial and applied technology, which included civil engineering, mechanical engineering, textile technology, electrical engineering, mining, power resources, chemical engineering, industrial chemical food technology, ceramics and clay technology. All those things now, because with the collapse of the East Africa community, Kenya then had to continue moving on with the research and industrial development initiatives. Again, this continued until 2013. And in the cleaning up of most of those laws in, especially within the Science and Technology the ministry, the Science and Technology Act was repealed. And the institute was then reverted to the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, which is currently domiciled. And although it's managed by a board of directors and has a director and CEO who is responsible for overseeing the day-to-day running of the institute, it does not have that semi-autonomous government agency status that would delink it from the day-to-day emasculation on this decision-making by the ministry. Now, Honorable Speaker, considering the historical development of the institute, the intent of this bill is really to rectify some of those loopholes that were left in 2013 when the House repealed the then establishing statute. The bill intends to give legal recognition to the institute, to empower it and guide its existence, give it proper mandate, and guide its operations. As I did mention, currently it's not properly guided in law. It's not quite clear how the Director General will be appointed. It's not clear whether the current law recognizes the institute as a body corporate and the extent of the institute's independence vis-a-vis the ministry. Additionally, the law doesn't expressly capture its mandate, and as you all know, research is, especially industrial research, is what will take us to the next level. Every country is embracing innovation. You cannot innovate unless you have invested heavily in research and development and protection of innovations. And Kirdi has been doing quite a bit of that. I know for those who have visited Kirdi, for those who have visited or seen what they've done through the various exposures that they are given on their work, you will notice even, I think one of the things I remember they did is even creating leather from fish skins and several other of those innovations. And they support the micro enterprise sector through all that development. Now, we know governments are basically supporting research, especially with lots of grants, agencies. If you look at the United States of America, they have the National Science Foundation. Some, again, do it through tax incentives. Again, going back to the US, you look at what's happening with the research and development tax credits that are very common there. And besides also the monetary support, governments are also keen in establishing government-oriented research and innovation centers that complement the research emanating from the universities. Now, as we build back better from the effects of COVID, we will not do this without research, without innovation, without doing things in a slightly better way than we've done in the past, and hence getting bodies like Kirdi to get more teeth, to get more gravitas, to actually define their status in law, will now then incentivize them to actually get out there and be innovative. Usually, and we've been in government for long, government is about asking, why do you want to do this? The example that was being given, Honorable Speaker, if you remember, was by the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni. He used to give the example of the powers of the immigration officers, that when you appear at the airport and you give their passport, the first thing they ask you is, why do you want to come to our country? I mean, you've chosen to be a tourist. Instead of telling you, welcome to our country and bring more, why do you want to come? It's almost like an interrogation. And that's a culture that was inbuilt into the civil service. So even in some of these institutes, when they want to go out of their way and become innovative, the hurdles they face, like to justify everything they want to do. Yet, innovation is not about waiting. I can give you an example of when M-Pesa, when Safaricom invented M-Pesa, after doing a lot of work within 2006, and they went to the regulator then, the Central Bank of Kenya. And the Central Bank was, what's all this you're bringing? This will bring money laundering. Why are you competing with the bank? Why are you competing with the bureaus? And they came to me, I think it was December of 2006, very frustrated that here we are, we have got an innovative product. But every question that we are being asked is a hurdle being placed on us not to move forward. And I listened to them, and I said, let's give these guys a chance. And I asked, what are the risks? And, the usual, people looking for all manner of reasons why you cannot be allowed to move forward. And I did ask the central bank then that give me some reasons within the next 2 days why we should not license these guys or allow them to continue. Oh, we don't have a law. So when are you going to have the law? Oh, we need to do benchmarking. Where are you going to do benchmarking on a new product that has not been invented before? So it's the kind of thing that happened, but eventually I said, let's try with this one. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, what's the risk? The rest, as they say, is history. between December of 2006 and March 17 of 2007, we were able to launch M-Pesa, an innovation that has won international recognition across the entire world. Now, Kirdi is in this situation where they will come up with something, but because they have to go through the ministry for, verification, validation of everything they do, they don't have that independence to actually get through most of their innovations. Not because the ministry is stifling them, but that's the nature of bureaucracy. That, even people in 6th floor would write letters to people on the 5th floor. And a letter might even have to go through the post office. I remember when I was Minister for Lands, the Commissioner of Lands Department and Director of Survey were 1 floor apart. But communication from the Commissioner of Lands to the Director of Survey was through the GPO. So a letter moves from Adi House, 3rd floor, to GPO, then comes to the registry, then it's taken to 4th floor, instead of people just communicating. That's the bureaucracy. That's how it works. And that stifles innovation, stifles the kind of innovativeness that we need. And hence, I think it's important that we look at ways of breaking down those barriers and giving bodies like Kirdi the operational independence they need so that they can take this country to the next level. I listened to His Excellency the President addressing the team in a meeting in South Africa in the presence of his host, the President Ramaphosa. And he did mention the whole issue of why Africa should be moving together and working together, not competing, just because some boundaries were drawn by some colonialists and separated us, and how we need to do integrated Africa trade. Now, we are not going to compete, much as we are removing the boundaries through the Africa-wide trade, but we are not going to compete with Uganda or with Rwanda or with South Africa or with Egypt unless we can innovate products that are cost-effective, that are competitive in the market, to be able to attract the customer and have an upper hand on the goods coming from the rest of Africa. And I think that's why you see the role of institutions like Kirdi, which, although they were formed initially to respond to the shortages arising from the Second World War, but we've also seen what happened with the COVID. With the disruption in the supply chains on a global basis, we couldn't get the PPEs, and they came out very clearly in terms of innovativeness, and we were able to supply the personal protective equipment to our hospitals and even in the neighborhood. So we have the capacity in this country. All we need is to be able to support that research, to get that industrial development, and the youth in this country will become innovators. We've seen what happens in the geocal industry. All the guys needed some validation of some of the things they're doing, some quality control, and Kenya will produce products that can be at par with the rest of the world. So that even as we move, we can now give hope to the youth of this country that here you have enabling statutes, enabling institutes, fully funded, that will help you move forward better. And then people don't just have to fall for political promises on some nirvana that is anchored on some ancient tools. But in terms of where the world is really getting into. So, Honorable Speaker, again, it's a straightforward matter. Basically what we want to do is to capture the spirit of giving Kirdi the legal anchorage and then challenge them to now respond to the issues that were raised in Vision 2030, which did recognize innovation and advancement in technology as one of the things that will take us into the middle income, into that quality of life that we want to aspire for Kenyans into the future. I could go on and on and on this topic. It's something I love, but I can. I want to.
Leader of Majority. This is a very interesting discussion you're having here. It is one that excites this particular speaker, and it is one that this speaker is willing to be innovative and allow you to speak as much as possible, because it is very educative. I have always wondered what this security is about. I know it is an old body. I didn't know all these things that you have said, and the exciting things you've said about MPS and your role in it. So don't be afraid.
For sure. So in terms of the wider role of Kirdi, is again that we giving them all those we actually expanding what they could do. Before, they were doing up to ceramics, power resources, mining technology. Now, especially for members from the livestock growing areas, leather technology is also being added as one of their mandates. And like I said, leather technology is not necessarily constrained or confined to hides and skins. Like I said, we've seen them doing things on the fish skins, and that is turned into handbags and all those things. And I'm glad Honorable Nyikal has come, because he can talk about this Kirdi and innovation better than me. And I'm sure he will be contributing to this. So basically, the Institute will be advising the government on all aspects, develop the agenda, collaborate with the institutions of higher learning, so that as we move in terms of what's happening on the academic front in the universities, we have an interlink between what does the market want, what do the universities teach, so we don't have this current disconnect that we are having, where people are going to universities and having degrees, and they actually don't know what to do with those degrees. But by collaborating the innovation bit and the learning, then you can have that universities will actually now be producing even students who are fit for market. And the universities will also start becoming centers of innovation, which is what happens in the West. I think the other thing is right now we have so many policies on industrial research and development that seem to disappear in the shelves. So Kirdi will be part of facilitating that implementation, among other things. But most importantly also is that we will, under this law, Kirdi will be mandated to also establish industrial and technology transfer centers, so that whatever technologies are developed, they will then be taken to the market for uptake by the youth centers in terms of the small industrial sheds and all that, and also an industrial technology depository where people can be able to access what's been read, so that even as we are now talking, there are few people, we don't even know where do we get some of this technology that have been developed by Kirdi. But those will be available, and with the technology now, people can get into the internet and be able to plug in and know what to do. So, like I said, this is something, it's good. It's actually surprising that it's taken so long to actually recognize Kirdi. We've set up laws to recognize some lesser bodies that I'm not even sure whether because they were able to agitate faster for their own recognition to make them into semi-autonomous government agencies. But on the very important ones who are kind of pushed to the back room, like Kirdis and all that, they've had to wait for this long. And I'm glad that we will now give them that lifeline, so that as we go into the future, we can be happy to say that this we did for generations to come. The bill, basically, I don't want to go through the various sections. It's clear to members. It sets up the board. It sets out how the Director General will be appointed, how they can be removed, what are their roles. It also talks about the having a corporation secretary in line with the Mwongozo Code, who must be a member of the Certified Public Secretary's Association so that they are answerable. Basically also talks of what will happen to the innovations and inventions by the employees. That how they will be protected, how they will be rewarded, and the rights that will be vested in the institute, so that whatever happens for staff who invent things, it's actually retained in Kirdi. That people don't go to Kirdi, work there, and quickly invent something and run away with it. So there's a lot of protection. It's a good law, I can tell you. I've gone through it. I went through it before signing it, and I want to recommend it to the House that we actually pass this law and then challenge Kirdi to take us to the next level. Honourable Speaker, I want to stop there. I want to beg that I move and request the Honourable Whip on behalf of the Trade Committee, who have done a very good report, but they are still trading out there. So I know they were following up on some issues that were given to them by the House, but I want to ask the Whip to second.
The Honourable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to second this bill as well elaborated by the Majority Leader. Honourable Speaker, this is a very modest bill, very good, and going in the footsteps of just the last two other bills, the bill on Asian widows and the bill we just passed a few minutes ago. The only difference is, after this one, we are looking at it having been established in 1979, we are giving it a better life. That is the only difference between this bill and the other bills, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, this bill, as the Majority Leader said, comes into history of 1942, having been pre-colonial times when there was those old days of innovation. And it happened, Honourable Speaker, that now in 1979, a full-fledged law came into force through Cap 250 of the Science and Technology Act. Honourable Speaker, this has moved on a long way, but to date, we are now looking at making this organization very independent, very organized, and giving it a legal framework within which it can operate. Honourable Speaker, why now do this kind of amendments to the bill or enrich the bill into a better legal framework? There are various issues that came up in the old bill. For example, Honourable Speaker, we look at the issue of appointment of the Director General, who is the key person in terms of administration of an organization like this one. In the current bill as it is not very clear. There is no clear picture on how to appoint the Director General. Honourable Speaker, there is no clear way or showing up on how the board is appointed, Honourable Speaker. You find, Honourable Speaker, that the Minister for Education appoints the board, one of the board members, rather than the Minister for Industrialization, Honourable Speaker. We find a mismatch that kind of appointment is likely to clash just because it's a research institution crossing over to a development institution, Honourable Speaker. When you look at the mother reason as to why KIRID exists, it's both for research and development, Honourable Speaker. In terms of development, Honourable Speaker, that's the output that we all see. When they have done research, what are we seeing on the count, Honourable Speaker? I know most people in Kenya have not visited the very giant machinery equipment center on your way to South B, Honourable Speaker. I know maybe yourself has not walked along that road, but as a Kenyan, Honourable Speaker, there is a very huge go down just after the flyover of
I cannot be in this seat forever. I recognize that. That's why I have a term and the term will end.
Who wants him out and why? One-on-one with DPP Nurdin Haji.
KDIC, protecting your deposits.
The Office of the Registrar of Political Parties is a model regulator of political parties mandated to register political parties, regulate political parties, and administer the Political Parties Fund.
Ilikuwa sisi na njaa, lakini wakati Uhuru alikuja, sisi nasema asante kwa sababu ya hii mtu anapatia maji ya irrigation.
Tunalima mchele na inatusaidia. Tunaweza kusomesha watoto, tunaweza kukaa kama mkulima na kaa kama mfanyabiashara mwingine.
ORPP is committed to serve you to promote political rights in a democratic multi-party system.
Wewe ulisema utaki kuhusishwa na mambo ya kupotea kwa Hana, ama si wewe?
Mwasubiri kwa muda mrefu hawakutokea.
Na pesa zao?
Si niko nazo.
Fikiria vile mimi nafikiria.
Sijui. Sorry, Mom.
It's okay, you don't have to be sorry.
I should have trusted you.
Utakula jeuri yako.